Hello everyone, welcome to ACE Online and welcome to Daily Current Affairs session. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today. GDP growth. So this is a very good article. It was taken from Press Information Bureau. We have a very good details given, and yes, you can expect a few questions from these data. So we'll see the basic details of what actually is GDP, and then the details also we will see, right? So that is very important details, and I can tell you one thing, that in the next coming few days we will get the election result, right? That is not matter for us anyway. But yes, you are going to get a lot of notifications. Even today, the Telangana newspaper, they are going to release a lot of jobs. Similarly, in all the states as well as central government as well, they are going to release a lot of notification, right, in the coming few months. So you need to have a very clear understanding of the current affairs, as well as try to make a short notes. You should have a very good edge over the other students, right? So current affairs are going to have a very good role for you if you are preparing it regularly. Of course, static part and whatever the technical part, that you need to take care as well. Along with that, you need to be very thorough with the current affairs, and you are going to get a lot of notifications to prepare, right? And also from Monday, the session will be from 6 p.m. mostly because of my offline classes schedule and all. But yeah, we will schedule it accordingly in our channel, right? So please do check it out accordingly. So this GDP growth is a first article that we are going to discuss. Then Hoolock gibbon or Hoolock gibbon. So this is part of environment, taken from Hindu itself. Now, usually because of elections and all, we were having less articles, but after few days, maybe after the new government formation, all these things, you will get a lot of news, like at least 10-12 articles you will see daily, right? So the third article, Skill India Digital Hub, this is part of economy. Then UN Global Supply Chain Form. This is economy as well as international relations, and then some factual pointers and practice questions. So these are the articles that we are going to cover today, and I hope my voice as well as a video is clear, and if you have any queries, you can also ask in the comment section. Yes, very good evening everyone. So let's start with the first article, that is GDP growth, right? GDP growth. Yeah, the context is the financial year. So tell me, when is the financial year? What is the dates? What is the year? What is the month of financial year? Let's take example. If there is a financial year of 2023. So what does this mean? What is this financial year 2023 mean? From which dates it spans? Tell me someone who have idea. Who have idea about the financial years. You need to know those basics as well. Financial year 2023 means starting from April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024. So this is what you need to know about the financial year also. So it means it starts from April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024, right? So this is the financial year. Whatever the, if they represent it as a financial year, that means it is the span. This is the 365 days. Now, they have given the data related to the financial year 2023. Right? Financial year 2023, they have given complete data. So, they have said that the GDP growth has, here financial year 2024 is estimated. That means for the next year, what is going to be the GDP? It is not the final one. So they have estimated financial year 2024 means starting from the April 1, 2024 till March 31, 2025. So they have estimated to forecast to grow at 8.2%. And this year we had a 7% growth. And for this financial year 2024 to 25 March 31, they have projected that we are going to see the 8.2% of the GDP growth, right? So yes, correct. Ranjan, it's actually from April 1. Yes, April 1 to March 31 of that respective years, right? So this is the financial year. Now they have estimated to be 8.2%, and the actual growth of financial year 2023 is 7%, right? Now we will see all these details. We have a lot of details to be remembered. Before that, yes, few students might be already know what actually is a GDP, but I want to tell for those students who are especially of technical background and they are just doing the current affairs to score, but you need to know about the basics as well. So for those people, I am also explaining the GDP calculation, right? So GDP means what amount of goods are produced in a country in that particular year. For example, financial year 2023. So it means that from April 1, 2023 till March 31, 2024, how much of goods and services has been produced by that particular country. Let's take it as an India. So in India, how much goods we have produced from April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024, how many goods you have produced, and how many in the sense that we need how much actually. So in terms of money, we need to calculate in terms of money. So for example, we are calculating the GDP of all. So these are categorized into agriculture sector, manufacturing sector, services sector, right? We have different sectors. I am not taking the complete GDP calculation class, it takes a lot of time. Just telling you how GDP is calculated. For example, 10 tomatoes are produced, let's imaginary. One tomato is equal to 1 rupee. So 10 rupees we have produced from tomatoes. And then from chappals, so 10 chappals were produced. Say for example 10 rupees, 100 rupees. So we have hundreds of goods, thousands of goods we have. All these goods have exactly how much produced and all the data is clearly with the government. Each and every company they have to give data to the government. So there will be lot of such what you call officers or the workers who are taking all these data and they will collect. Of course it won't be exactly accurate. There will be discrepancy, there will be error. No need to worry. But just visualize yourself that it is exactly what we are getting. So all the data, all the goods, how much a company, from small company to big company, how many goods you produce, how much cost you have sold. So they will multiply and then they will add completely of all the goods and service from all the sectors. Of course, if government want to categorize into different companies or different sectors also they can do. From manufacturing sector, how much they have produced in terms of money. From agriculture, how much they have produced in terms of money. So they can also know about sector wise. But if you are adding all the goods and services, how much amount it came. So this is called as the total GDP of India in that financial year, right? So that is the GDP of that particular year. Now there will be two types of GDP. Two types of, this is also very important to be understood. Two types of GDP. One is nominal GDP. Why I am telling this? Because why I am explaining this? Because we have a data given by the ministry. There is a nominal GDP, how much it has grown, and real GDP, how much it has grown. So because all these terminologies you need to understand. Else if you simply by heart what is the use, you will not remember for a long time. You need to analyze what is happening in our economy, then only you will be remembered, right? Remembered. Nominal GDP and real GDP. Real GDP. See, in some years we will have inflation. That means we have produced 10 tomatoes only last year, but because of inflation, because of the COVID years or because of the constraint in the economy, the price has increased. We did not increase the number. We did not produce more goods. We only produced same amount of goods compared to last year, but because of inflation, the 1 rupee has become 2 rupees. So actually 20 rupees we produced. But this 10 rupees what we have got extra is because of inflation, not because we have produced something, right? So if all these goods and services are calculated in terms of inflation, that means inflation is also included. Irrespective of number of goods produced and all, we have multiplied directly with the money, but we have also included the inflation. The amount of inflation was also included in the prices. So that is called as the nominal GDP. This will always be high. Mostly, not always. Sometimes inflation may also reduce, like 1 rupee might have become half rupee only because of various reasons and all. But mostly nominal GDP is usually more than GDP because nominal GDP also include the inflation, right? And in case of real GDP, we will reduce the inflation. What is the last year price? What is the this year price? So there is a change in amount. Rather than goods, of course goods may be also produced, but yes, they will compare with the last year prices or base year. There will be some concept called as base year where they will fix one year, like 2012 to 13 or 11 to 12, which is a normal year. There is no any fluctuations and all. It went well, so it was a normal condition. They may compare the prices of that year, then inflation can be included as well, right? So if inflation is included and then calculated the total amount of GDP produced, that is called as nominal GDP. And real GDP, we will remove all the inflation in each and every good in the thousands of goods that we are calculating. If we remove the inflation, then comes the real GDP. So this actually is the real one, that how much a country has grown. Because of inflation also we may grow, but that is not actually the real one, as it does not create any infrastructure or goods and all, right? So real GDP is the one which excludes the inflation and then they calculate, right? So this is the concept of nominal GDP and real GDP. Is this clear? Please someone respond. If this is clear, we will move to a little bit small concept and then we will go to the data. Someone please respond, so that, see, this is the important thing. I can just write it down, the facts, I can read it out, how many of the videos will do in the YouTube, that they will keep reading, but without understanding, I don't feel from students that how they are able to remember all these things. This is a very difficult thing without knowing the concept, right? Is this clear about the real GDP? And yes, great. Now one more thing you need to understand. There is two concepts. GDP you already knew. GDP and GVA, gross value added. Gross value added, right? This basic difference also to be understood. In terms of gross, for example, I am having a company A. I am having a company A, say for example, cell phone company I am having it, right? So I am producing 10 cell phones. 10 cell phones I have produced. Whatever the amount that I incurred, that means, for example, I need to collect the chip, I need to collect the plastic, I need to collect everything, and whatever the cost that I have occurred, whatever I have value added. For example, one phone, it cost me around 5,000 to manufacture, right? So this is the 5,000 amount that I have value added to the economy. That means this 5,000 is the sole money without any taxes, without any subsidies from the government, right? Or what I am going to pay the government. There is nothing. Just when I started a company, for each phone, it took 5,000 amount for each phone to produce, right? So this is what I incurred. If all the companies, whatever the companies in India completely, whatever it is added, like I produced 5,000 for each cell phone into 10, 50,000 I have produced. And then some other company in terms of chappals, tomatoes, everything, all the companies, whatever they have value added newly in that particular year, those all the together is called as gross value added, GVA. This does not include any taxes or subsidies. No taxes or no subsidies. Because see, I need to pay tax also for the government. For example, cell phone has 12% or 10%, let's say. Now 10% is not there. GST is only 5, 12, 18 and 28, right? So let's say 10% tax I need to pay to the government. This is not the one that I have value added. So 5,000 plus 500. So total 5,500. I will sell it to some other person, including my profit, all those things. So this 10% is actually not added by me. It was added by whom? Who added this 10%? Tell me. What does it mean? Add interest in nominal GDP. There is no interest in nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is nothing but the total GDP, real GDP plus inflation. There is no interest at all. So there may be some misunderstanding in that particular concept when you are reading. So try to recollect it, right? So now tell me, who added this 10%? This is a gross value added by the producer. That means me as a company A. And who added this 10%? Yes, exactly, Santosh. It was added by the government. It was not added by me, right? So also, sometimes government will give subsidies to the companies. For example, I am manufacturing iPhone, right? So government want to support the companies to invest more and produce more in the country. Now what they will do? They will give 5% subsidies. So not only government taking tax, this subsidy will not be available to all the companies. Whatever government feels that this is important, then only they will give the 5%. Various reasons are there. So some subsidies are also given. This is also not reduced by me. This is what I have added to the economy. So if you calculate these things from all the companies without taxes and subsidies, that is called as the gross value added. Yes, correct. That is government addition, right? So gross value addition means whatever the core amount that I incurred in producing the goods. So those are called as gross value added. Now GDP means GVA plus whatever taxes I pay minus some subsidies that I am getting from the government. So because I am doing a manufacturing company, government is supporting me, so they will give some rebates. So minus subsidies. So if I remove, if I add taxes plus subsidies are mostly less amount than taxes, of course. So taxes minus subsidies, if I do addition, then I will get the GDP. So GDP is nothing but total value added plus taxes minus subsidies given by the government. So this is called as the GDP. Is this clear? Now tell me, is this clear between difference between GDP and GVA? So if it is clear, now we will go to the data, because this is all you need to understand for this particular article. You need to know about the nominal GDP, the real GDP. You also need to know about GDP difference and gross value addition, what are all included and excluded. Great. Yeah. Now let's move to the data. Now you can easily understand, right? I'll also show you some questions at the end. Right, I'll show you the recent data released by the Press Information Bureau, and I have made one difficult question also. You need to be very clear here, right? Before knowing the data, who publishes these GDP figures? That is also important fact. So not too much stress from my side. So you just need to remember it is released by National Statistical Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So it is released by a organization under Ministry of Statistics, National Statistical Organization, right? And it is published yearly as well as quarterly. For every 3 months they will give, estimate also they will give, and what actually has happened also they will give. It is given yearly as well as quarterly, right? That is also important. Now coming to the data given by the government. Key highlights of the GDP data. For the next financial year, for this financial year itself, financial year 2023-24, right? That means from April 1, 2023 to March 31, 2024. See, I'm giving you the data. You need to understand it. Also, if you have any small doubt also, please do let me know in the comment section. I will clear it. So this is a estimated. We already got the data because April 2023 till March 31, 2024, the days has already completed. We are on June 1st. So we got the data now. So it has estimated that the GDP has grown at 8.2%. 8.2%. Now tell me, what does this mean of 8.2% of GDP growth? What does this mean? Tell me. What does this mean? 8.2% GDP growth. We have just calculated. We have seen how GDP is calculated. So it means that when compared to the last year, we have added 8.2% more of goods and services. We have, in terms of value, of course, in terms of crores only, we have added some in terms of crore, we have increased our GDP contribution by 8.2%. So that is what this means, right? And last year, 2022-23 financial year, it was just a 7%. So we have increased our GDP growth, right? So this is what, yeah, without inflation, we were able to we were able to increase the 8.2% of GDP growth, right? So this is what they have said. This figure is important now, right? Last year it was 7% and 8.2% we have added extra for whole financial year, right? Next one, nominal GDP has grown by 9.6% in the financial year. So that means inflation is there. Inflation is there. What if it is a nominal GDP is also 8.2%? Answer me this. If nominal GDP is also 8.2%, that means what? Answer someone. If nominal GDP was also 8%, it means what? It means there is no inflation. Inflation is zero. Inflation is zero. If it was a 8.2%, that means there is an inflation of at least nearly, you can add 1.4% inflation was extra added in terms of GDP, right? In terms of GDP, we have added 1.4% extra was because of the inflation, right? So nominal GDP is 9.6% in this financial year 2023-24. Yes, exactly, Santosh. Very good. There is no inflation. When compared to the 2022-23, the nominal GDP was 14.2%. See here, compare this one. Last year, real GDP growth was 7% only, but nominal GDP last year was 14.2% growth. That means there is more than 7% of inflation, which is a very high. But now we were able to cool it. This type of statement also will come in the exam, that compared to the last year, this year inflation was more or less they will ask. So this was a less one, 9.6 and 8.2 difference is 1.4 only. But here there was a 7%. That means last year because of inflation, we have added GDP, not because of some extra production, right? So this is also important to be understood. So last year we were like 14.2%. Now the nominal GDP was 9.6%. Correct, Sai, you are correct. So the last one, real gross value added. That means we have seen gross value added means without any taxes and all. So real gross value added is 7.2%. That means it will be less than GDP. GDP includes taxes and all. Government contribution is also included in the real GDP. But here, real gross value added. Gross value added means without any government contribution, it is 7.2%. So the important figures that you need to remember are 8.2% of GDP growth, then 9.6% of nominal GDP, and 7.2% of gross value added. GVA, nominal GDP and real GDP. So these figures, these three are important, and how the trend compared to the last year is also important for us. I hope this is clear, right? So these are the key highlights. Now there is also few more. Of course, they can ask any type of questions, right? Examiners can ask any type of questions, so you need to know about this as well, right? And gross value added growth has increased when we compare to the last year, like 6.7%. Last year gross value added is 6.7%, now 7.2%. So this data also said that main growth that we have achieved, the main GDP growth or gross value added that we have achieved is because of manufacturing sector. Within GDP we have manufacturing services sector, we have agriculture sector, forestry, mining, all these things are there. So because of manufacturing sector, that means we have physically used the what you call companies or textile sectors and all to increase the goods production. So because of manufacturing sector, they will ask you this also, which sector has contributed more in the last financial year. Because of manufacturing, it has increased. So main thing that we got able to increase is in manufacturing sector, followed by mining and quarrying sector. Mining and quarrying sector also have seen 7.1% when compared to the last year 1.9%, right? So we were able to increase in manufacturing sector as well as mining and quarrying sector. That's why our GDP has increased. Observe this. Last year manufacturing was only 2%, but now it was 9.9%. And mining and quarrying is just 1.9% last year, but we were able to grow 7.1%. So these two sectors were the ones which has increased our GDP growth. So this is also very important point, right? Next point, real GDP or GDP at constant price, both are same. In terms of lakh crores also, I have told you that GDP is nothing but total amount of goods and services produced in terms of money. Products, how many numbers multiplied by cost, right? So the total GDP that was produced was 173.82 lakh crores. Remember, lakh crores, so it is a huge amount. This is the amount that we have produced in the last financial year. This is also important. This is the real GDP in terms of lakh crores that we have produced, right? Nominal GDP that we have talked about, nominal GDP was 295.36 lakh crores. 295.36 lakh crores. Because of inflation, there is a difference, right? So this is the nominal GDP and this is the real GDP. Fine. So this is also important to be remembered. Fine. So that is the data, and few more details also given in the Press Information Bureau. These trends also need to be understood. They may ask you about data, they may also ask you trend, like whether it has increased, decreased compared to the last year. So any combination of questions can be possible. So this red line is the GDP growth rate. That means compared to last year, how much increased it was. And this cubes or rectangles these were in terms of lakh crores. This is in terms of percentage, how much GDP we were able to increase. And these are the candles that here are in terms of lakh crores. So you can see here, these are in terms of lakh crores. 160 lakh crores, 140 lakh crores. So these are the ones. So this is the red line is the growth rate, and the candles are nothing but the in terms of lakh crores. Now observe the trend. Since 2012-13 they have given data, so which is a very good thing for us because we have got the data. This is a very important. 2012-13 there has been increased in the next year. There again increase. From 2016-17 it started decreasing. Can anyone tell what is the reason? Can anyone tell me why there is a decrease of GDP in 2016-17 onwards? After 2016-17, you can see there was a dip. 6.8% we got, then 6.5, then even it went for 6.9, I guess, this one. So why there is a dip in this particular financial year onwards? Anyone? This is because demonetization. If you could able to remember the years, in that 2016-17 there was a demonetization. That means all the currency notes were taken back by the government and they have released the new ones. So because of that there was no proper production and all, because of lack of liquidity in the market. So it took around few years for us to recover, and then immediately we got the COVID years. So again there was a dip. Again there was a -5 points. So that completely stopped, right? So we got demonetization and we are trying to recover, and immediately there was a COVID years, right? So again there was a dip, and after COVID we started increasing. So the trend is, you can remember, till 2016-17 there was a consistent growth. That means year on year, every year. Consistent means every year there was a growth. After that there was a dip, again rise, and then there was a dip. So there was no consistency after 2016-17, right? So that is also important. Any doubts in this trend? And GVA also, in terms of GVA, gross value also they have given. This is not very important, but yeah, so you have to remember as well. Gross value add also same thing, like how there was an increase till 2016-17 and then there was a dip, there was recovery, and there was an increase. So no need to remember the numbers of only this year number you can remember. After that you need to remember the trends, right? So this is about the estimation. Now this year, financial year 2023-24, we have sector wise also, which sector has contributed more and all also important. So if you see here, financial, real estate and professional services, 23%. This is the most dominant one which has contributed for GDP growth in the financial year 2023-24. So this is also important. First one you can remember, and then second one also, yes, you can remember, that is agriculture, livestock, second one, and the third one is trade, hotels, transport, societies as service sector. So dominant one you can remember, that will be sufficient, right? Financial, real estate and professional services contributed highest for this year GDP, right? So this is also a very important one. This is how you need to extract the data. Nowhere they will discuss, they will just give you these things, but you need to extract, you need to develop the capabilities to extract the required data, right? Then in the sector wise growth, you can see here, if it is sector wise, blue color indicates last year, orange color indicates this year. So you can see, we have seen manufacturing was the one which has contributed more. So same thing, manufacturing has contributed 9.9% in 2023-24. Similarly, after that, which one has contributed? Yes, construction, again 9.5%. Anyway, last year it was 9.4%, but this year also same, approximately 9.5%. But the second dominant one was construction, first was manufacturing, right? And then after that followed by financial, real estate, service, 8.4%. First two you can remember, that will be sufficient. Fine. So these are all the data that is required. After, like most of the students, after seeing all these things, these are not required, or they don't know how to extract the required data. So try to develop that skills. Whenever there is a difficulty, that means you need to challenge yourself. So you need to try to spend a little more time and get an edge over the other students, right? So these are the important data. Any doubts from this? Please respond. If not, now we have very short articles, factual stuff. So for me, I personally don't like to teach the factual things, because you can also prepare. You can also have same capabilities like how the teachers are doing. So it is not very difficult, just to make you know, compile the requirement articles. So that is my duty. I can just focus on what you call stressing those facts, right? Any doubts from this particular? Correct. Mining is the second one. Mining is just 2%, no? Mining has increased in terms of percentage of production, right? Mining is in terms of increasing their whatever it has done in the last year. So here it is the total contribution to GDP. It is not the increase, but the contribution. This figure indicates contribution to GDP, not the increase. Whatever we have discussed mining as second, that was increase when compared to the last year. Great. Let's move to the next article, that is Hoolock Gibbons. Hoolock Gibbons, right? The context is railways, Indian Railways going to construct a canopy bridges. We will see what actually are canopy bridges also. They are going to construct a canopy bridges across the track in Assam. So that means, for example, this is the area of Hoolock gibbon. We will discuss about Hoolock gibbons also. They are primates, I mean apes, like chimpanzees. So this is the habitat. For example, this is the habitat. I mean, this is the area in which Hoolock gibbons are living. But exactly, there is a railway track which was passing in between that. So because of this railway track, there was an accidents, like whenever their Hoolock gibbons are crossing from this area to this area or that side to this side, there were accidents, and also they were not able to, because they are intelligent, like chimpanzees, apes, they are very intelligent, so they are not able to cross also. These chimpanzees remain, I mean Hoolock gibbons remained here, and this has remained there. So it was lack of movement. That's why now the Indian Railways is going to construct a canopy bridge between these to enable to cross them without any effect, right? So this is the context. Right? So that is the context. Now let's see what actually are Hoolock gibbon. Hoolock gibbon. So they are the apes. That means you can see here, this is the Hoolock gibbon. It is like ape means those which are primates, which have emerged even before humans, right? So they are the primates, and it is the only ape. We have number of ape species, like chimpanzees we have gibbons we have, right? And we have orangutan as well in Southeast Asia. So these are all ape species, and in India only Hoolock gibbons are the ones which are having natural habitat. Yes, we do have chimpanzees and all in zoos, but in terms of naturally found, only the Hoolock gibbon is the one which is present in India, right? It is the only ape found in India, and this is native to not only in India. It is not just found in India, but it is found in Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, all these countries, neighboring countries are also having this, right? And they are the smallest among the apes. Like we have, as I said, we have chimpanzees, orangutans and all. These are the ones which are smallest as well as fastest in the movement, right? So this is also important. Next qualities, they live in tropical and subtropical regions. That means if this is the earth, this is the equator, these are the tropics and these are the subtropical. So only in these regions they are found, not in the Arctic regions and all, right? So that is also one important fact. And like humans, they are very intelligent. They know like how family bondings, and they know how to treat others. So these are very intelligent species. And these what you call Hoolock gibbons are categorized into Western as well as Eastern Hoolock gibbons, right? So within Hoolock gibbons, we have two separate species, Eastern Hoolock gibbons and Western Hoolock gibbons. And Western Hoolock gibbons are having a much wider range when we compare to the Eastern Hoolock gibbons. We have much wider range for the Western Hoolock gibbons, spreading over Northeast India, Brahmaputra region, right? Outside India, they can found in the Eastern Bangladesh and North Myanmar, right? So they are having much wider range. That means they can roam in a more bigger habitat, and their status is in IUCN endangered. In the IUCN list, they are listed as endangered. Whereas Eastern Hoolock gibbons has a specific habitat in the Arunachal Pradesh and Assam, that's all. And in terms of other countries, they have some part in China as well as Myanmar. But anyway, they have more numbers as compared to the Western gibbons, but that's, I mean, because of their higher numbers, they are listed as vulnerable, a little bit less criteria than endangered. Remember, Western Hoolock gibbons have wider range, but their protection status is high because they are in less number. Whereas Eastern Hoolock gibbons, they have a lesser range, but their numbers are more, and that's why it is listed as vulnerable. Now, what is the project about? This is going to be taken care by Northeast Frontier Railways, where they are going to construct the canopy bridges. Canopy bridges means the bridges looks like same as the forest area. It mimics the natural forest area. So the animals will not feel that these are artificially created and all. These are like naturally with green leaves and all. So they feel naturally to transfer from one region to other region. So these are all the canopy bridges which are going to build in the Northeast, right? So that is the about article related to Hoolock gibbons, right? Next article, Skill India Digital Hub. Skill India Digital Hub, right? The context is National Skill Development Corporation under Ministry of Skill Development and International Labour Organization under United Nations. They have collaborated to promote the skills through Skill India Digital Hub across India. So that is, they are going to collaborate, these two organizations. They may ask you in the exam which international organization has collaborated with National Skill Development Corporation to promote Skill India Digital Hubs in India. So it is International Labour Organization, right? Now what is this Skill India Digital Hub? This is like a skill development, what you call public infrastructure, that is a one particular website or particular store. Like it is an app, it is a website, so everything, it is a digital place where all the schemes of India, whether private organizations are giving, whether government organizations are giving. So any organizations in India, if they are giving any skills, of course you need to pay amount for the skills that you take. So whatever it is given throughout India, they will register here. And whoever wants skills, they can go and they can search what type of skills they want, and they can pay and they can get the skills, right? So in the end, all the skill givers are at one place, and then skill takers are also can access that single place. So it is like a single umbrella initiative where everything related to the skills givers as well as takers can access through it, right? So it is aiming to promote the skill development in India and make ready the youth for the industrial development, whatever the requirement that is. For example, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these things are being increased because of the digitalized world. So that type of skills are also can be accessed. And all the government given schemes also, like whatever government is giving schemes, either central government and central state government, all the schemes are also will be displayed here. Whoever are eligible can also take that. So whatever the amount that they are paying, have to pay for private organization for taking skills, government support also will be there if they are eligible for these initiatives, right? So that is about the simple article about Skill India Digital Hub. It is launched by National Skill Development Corporation under Ministry of Skill Development. Fine. Next, last article, UN Global Supply Chain Forum, right? UN Global Supply Chain Forum. The inaugural edition, that means this again becomes very, very important as for the first time the conference has happened, right? So the inaugural edition of UN Global Supply Chain Forum has happened, was conducted or hosted by UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, an organization under United Nations with the support of Barbados. Can you able to recall Barbados? We have discussed Small Island Development Council few days back itself. So Barbados, it is happening in the fourth conference is happening. So on the sidelines of this conference, this Global Supply Chain Forum was launched by UNCTAD. Now, before knowing what actually is a global supply chain forum, you need to know about the supply chains. Supply chains means all the activities involved from starting from in production of good, any particular good, this pen also. So all the processes involved in producing any good, starting from taking raw material, supply, manufacturing, distribution, real location, customer. So from beginning from the production till it reaches the customer. So there should be a free flow. All these connectors are called as supply chain. All these are nodes, right? These are nodes, and this is a chain to supply from raw material till the customer. As you might have seen during the COVID years, vaccines has become very important, and then some medical equipment has become very important, some semiconductor chips has become important. As most of the countries were dependent on China, they did not send the goods, and our supply chains has been disrupted. So raw materials are not available, so how can you produce the final goods? So this supply chain has been disrupted because of various activities from different countries, not only China, from different countries, because they saved themselves, right? So this supply chains was disrupted. Now to tackle this, the United Nations has come up that certain countries, I mean there will be an initiative. So there will be an agreement where countries cannot stop. They can take their basics, but after that they need to give it to the other countries. So the agreement is not yet done, but yes, the discussion was started by United Nations, and the conference was named as Global Supply Chain Forum. So all the countries will discuss, and future they may come up with the agreement as well, right? So they will focus on continuous supply chain mechanism without any disruptions. That is the aim of this conference, right? It will include innovation, like we no need to completely depend on physical transfer also. Sometimes digital transfer is also required. So collaboration, all these things are very generic in nature. This is the aim of this project, right? So that is of, yes, exactly, Santosh, we have discussed that Small Islands Development Council, right? Now we have few facts as well. There was a small article in Times of India about belay block printing. Belay block printing. That this is being affected, this is in a danger, this craft is in danger. This is what the article, very small article, it was mentioned. This is a traditional textile art form where the fabrics are designed and all, you can see. This is from Kutch region in Gujarat. This is important for us, right? Kutch region in Gujarat. This belay block printing is from Kutch region, Gujarat. It got GI tag as well, and this was developed by Khattri community. Locally, this particular community is depending on this, right? Next one, Indian Air Force is taking part of red flag exercise in Alaska. Alaska is in USA, of course, there is a Canada between, but Alaska was within USA now, and this red flag exercise is being conducted by Indian Air Force in Alaska, right? It is a multinational air combat exercise, not only India, USA, many friendly countries of USA are following, and this is of Air Force exercise to get ready for a critical condition. So sometimes there may be wars, sometimes there may be some groupings of wars. So because to get ready such type of things, they are doing the combat exercise, it is like a practice. Next one, Kavango Jambeji Trans-Frontier Conservation Area. So this is an area in Africa. This is a sensitive area, forest region. Kavango Jambeji Trans-Frontier Conservation Area. It is a area in Africa which is ecologically sensitive. The inaugural summit has happened in Zambia. Zambia is a country in South Africa, right? So this forum was established in 2011, but they haven't implemented. Now inaugural session was happened, conference was happened in Zambia, right? And Kavango and Zambezi river basins were passed through these countries. Angola, if you are writing higher level of exams like state PSC, group 1 civil services, these things may come, but lower level exams they won't ask you, don't worry, right? Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe are the ones which are part of this, right? And Okavango Delta region, like how we have Godavari Krishna Delta, Okavango is a river. This is the world's largest inland delta. This is also located in this frontier region. Similarly, Victoria Falls is also located in this region, right? So this is about the initiative. Now let's solve some practice questions. First question. Which of the following statements about GDP growth of financial year 2023 is incorrect? Let's see who has understood this. We have discussed in detail. So I have made all the 4 statements, and out of 4 only 1 is wrong. Let's see who will answer this. GDP growth rate has consistently increased till 2019-20 before COVID since 2012-13. So it is saying that since 2012-13 till COVID there was a consistent increase, right? Consistent increase of GDP growth. That is the first statement. Second statement, in the financial year 2023-24, manufacturing contributed the highest GDP growth rate for GDP. So manufacturing has contributed the highest, they are saying. All right. Next, the annual GDP value in terms of crores has consistently increased since the COVID-19 financial year. So this is a little bit challenging. Let's see who has remembered that bars and all. We have seen bar chart. So in terms of lakh crores, they are saying GDP value has increased consistently since COVID. From COVID, there was a continuous increase, they are saying. Real GDP has been estimated to grow 8.2% in financial year 2023-24 compared to the growth rate of 7% in 2020-23. So which one is? So this you all know, we have discussed the context itself, 8.2%. So D is correct. B is also, you might be know that manufacturing we have discussed. This B and D can be easily eliminated if you have focusedly understood. Right? Now this may be in doubt. C also may be in doubt, and A gives some clue. We have seen till demonetization year only it was increased. After demonetization it has decreased. We have discussed this also. So it was not consistent till COVID years. So this is a wrong statement. And yes, GDP in terms of lakh crores after 2020-21 COVID year, it was consistently increasing. Right? So answer is A. Very good, very good. Santosh, Alok, Sai, Ramya, Ranjan, Srinath, everyone have answered it as very well, right? Great. Next one, with regard to Hoolock gibbon, which of the following statements are correct? So which statements among these 3 they are giving? It is only ape found in India. So among the different apes they are saying it is the only ape found in India. It is found only in India. So these apes are found only in India, they are saying. Next, Western Hoolock gibbon has more wider range than Eastern Hoolock gibbon. So what is the answer for this? Very easy question. Second statement can be eliminated. We have seen it is Myanmar, China, Bangladesh and all. So 2 statements are already eliminated. Fine. Now, okay. So 2 statements are eliminated. Fine. So I think there is no answer. 1 and 3 both are correct. So third statement is also correct. Western Hoolock gibbon has more range than Eastern Hoolock gibbon. So third is also correct. First is also correct. So there is no answer, 1 and 3. So both are correct, right? So you can take it as a C. Fine, you may be confused a little bit. So Western Hoolock gibbon has a more range than Eastern Hoolock gibbon, right? We have seen this. So no answer is there, but don't worry, 1 and 3 is the answer. Next one, Global Supply Chain Forum is an initiative of. Global Supply Chain Forum is an initiative of UNESCO, UNCTAD, World Bank, World Trade Organization. Very direct question we have seen. The answer is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. This has happened in the Barbados on the sidelines of small industrial or small islands development institution. So yes, 3 is B. Very direct question. Yes, correct. Santosh, Alak, Ranjan, Ramya, all of you are correct. Next one, Bella block printing is a native handicraft of. Srinath, correct. Bella block printing is a native handicraft of Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, Gujarat, Kerala. Correct, Sai. This is also direct. Kutch region, right? Kutch region. So answer is C, Gujarat. Correct. Alok has answered. Right? So that is of today's session. Yes, Santosh, Srinath, Ramya, all of you are correct. Very good. So this is all today's initiative. Try to remember all the facts and concepts as well. Have a great evening. Thank you.